Guarding in Stepford County Railway is responsible for dispatching the train from a station safely and efficiently. Once a train stops at a station, the guard exits the train, opens the passenger doors, dispatching the train, and the guard enters the train to end the procedure. This procedure will depend whether or not there is a dispatcher at a station, but it is repeated for every station they stop at until the last station. Before continuing this video, I recommend watching the dispatcher guide video if you haven't already, since the procedure for guarding is quite similar to dispatching. However, I will still explain important information when guarding. In this video, I will explain everything you need to know about guarding and guide you through the process step by step. My name is Juneda, and let's get started. To spawn as a guard, go to the role selection menu and choose Guard. You can select any station you would like and click Spawn. You will need to find any train you would like to guard. If you want to find trains more easily, you can choose major or busy stations such as Stepford Central, St. Helens Bridge, Benton, Leighton City, Lane by the Sea, and so on. Optionally, you can ask in chat that you are available for guarding by simply typing FreeGD. You can then choose a driver you want to guard, ask for their next station, and spawn there. After spawning as a guard, this is how you will appear. This is your uniform while you are currently off duty. If you are guarding a train, you're holding a whistle and a torch. Your uniform may vary depending on the operator of your train. You will be responsible for guarding that train until your driver either terminates, ejects you, or despawns. You can also despawn or leave the train entirely, which will leave you off duty. Once you find a train you want to guard, you can request to guard it by selecting the train. The Request to Guard button will then appear on the right-hand side of your screen. You may press this button to send your request to the driver. The driver can either accept or reject your request. If they reject your request 3 times, you will no longer be able to request that train until they despawn. After being accepted by the driver, you will be teleported to a seat inside the train near the local door, which is usually located around the rear of the train. The local door is used for guards to exit and enter the train during the procedure. Its exact location depends on the type of train, as the local door may either be at the passenger saloon door, the rear cab door, or sometimes the middle. While guarding a train, you will see the train information on the right-hand side of your screen. This includes the driver's username, rank, head code, unit number, lateness, destination, whistle and torch buttons, which will be explained later, an X button to leave the train, the next stop, and the scheduled departure time. The left-hand side of your screen shows the guard panel. The buttons will not appear until the train has stopped at a station. Once it does, the guard panel allows you to perform various actions during the procedure. The door interlock light indicates whether or not all doors, including the local door, are closed. If it's lit, all doors are closed. If it's unlit, one or more doors are open. The local door switch allows you to open or close your local door, as explained earlier. You will need to use this switch at the start and end of the guarding procedure to leave and enter the train. The passenger doors enable button allows you to open all passenger doors depending on which side of the platform the station is on. Using either of these buttons functions the same way. The door close button allows you to close all passenger doors, except the passenger saloon door, if that's your local door. Lastly, the signal bell button is used to buzz the driver once you are done with the guarding procedure. Additionally, the text bar at the bottom of the guard panel displays instructions or status during your guarding procedure. Before dispatching your train during your guarding procedure, make sure it is safe to dispatch by identifying the signal aspect ahead. This was explained in the dispatcher guide video, so I will keep this short. There are 5 ways to identify the signal aspect. Signals. If the signal ahead shows proceed, preliminary caution, or caution, it's safe to dispatch. If it shows danger, it's not safe to dispatch. Be sure to keep in mind about this. Off indicators. If it's lit, it's safe to dispatch. If it's unlit, it's not safe to dispatch. Banner repeaters. If it's a diagonal stripe, it's safe to dispatch. If it's a horizontal stripe, it's not safe to dispatch. Semaphore signals. If the semaphore shows at least one diagonal arm, it's safe to dispatch. If the semaphore shows both horizontal arms, it's not safe to dispatch. Tram signals. If the signal is vertical, it's safe to dispatch. If the signal shows horizontal, it's not safe to dispatch. Now that you have learned or recalled different tools for identifying the platform signal aspect ahead, let's move on to the actual guarding procedures. If you are accepted by the driver while the train doors are open, you won't be teleported and will need to find your local door. To find your local door, head toward the rear of the train and look for a flashing interlock light on the side of a carriage. If the flashing light is on the last carriage, check the rear cab door first. If it's open, that is your local door. If it's not open, then one of the nearby passenger doors will be your local door. If you're unsure which one it is, you can choose one for now. If there is no flashing interlock light at the rear, check the middle of the train instead. On some trains, especially double units, the local door is located in the middle. Go to the first car of the second unit and check for a flashing interlock light. If it's flashing, check the middle cab door. If it's open, that is your local door. Otherwise, it will be the first passenger door on the second unit. If the door next to you closes when you close the passenger doors, then it's not your local door. Look for a door that remains open and move there instead. That is your local door, so make sure to remember its location for that specific train. Once you have found your local door, stand next to it at a safe distance. You should then face toward the front of the train or the dispatcher if present, which will be explained shortly. Once your train stops at a station, you will be prompted to open your guard panel by clicking it. First, you will need to open your local door by clicking the local door switch. Once your local door has opened, you may exit the train and stand next to your local door. If the dispatcher is not present, face toward the front of the train where the driver is located. Next, open the passenger doors by clicking the passenger doors enable button. The train will then begin loading and TRTS will be sent automatically once the train is ready to depart. Once the train has finished loading, the whistle button on the right-hand side of your screen will highlight in pink, as well as the instructions on the bottom of the guard panel, prompting you to whistle. Do not whistle yet. First, confirm the signal aspect ahead using one of the identifiers we discovered, making sure it is safe to dispatch. If the signal ahead is danger, it's not safe to dispatch and you must wait until it changes. This applies to whistling, closing doors, and raising a torch unless your train has overshot a signal. Once the signal ahead is clear, it's safe to dispatch. You may press the whistle button. After whistling, you will be prompted to close the passenger doors. Again, check if it's still safe to dispatch. If so, you may press the door close button. Once the passenger doors are closed, you will be prompted to whistle again to confirm that all passenger doors are closed. Before that, make sure to check the interlock lights along the sides of each carriage to ensure that all doors are closed. All lights should be unlit except your local carriage, which will flash. After checking, make sure it's still safe to dispatch. If so, you may whistle again. After the whistle animation ends, you may board the train and close your local door by clicking the local door switch again. You must be on the train as you close your local door. Once all doors, including the local door, are closed, the door interlock light should be lit. If so, you may press the signal bell button, which will buzz the driver. The driver will then signal bell back to you, and the train will finally depart. As your guarding procedure ends, your guard panel will close until the next station. Congrats! You have successfully dispatched a train as a guard. Each station you dispatch will earn you 5 points and 1 experience. Your driver will then earn an extra 5 points due to the guard bonus. If the dispatcher is present, the guarding procedure will vary slightly. However, the overall process remains very similar to guarding a train without a dispatcher. Once your train stops at a station with a dispatcher present, open your local door and the passenger doors as usual. The dispatcher will handle TRTS, if it's not automatic, and position themselves based on your position. If you are positioned near the rear of the train, face toward the dispatcher who will be at the front half of the train. If you are positioned in the middle, face toward the dispatcher at the very rear of the train. Once the train has finished loading, you do not need to whistle. Instead, the dispatcher will whistle and raise their baton while facing you. You may then close the passenger doors if it's safe to dispatch. After the doors are closed, check the interlock lights to ensure all doors are closed. The dispatcher will do the same. Once everything is confirmed, the dispatcher will whistle again and raise their baton. After the second whistle, the torch button will highlight in pink, along with the instructions at the bottom of the guard panel. You may then press the torch button to raise your torch, provided it's still safe to dispatch. Make sure to remain still during the animation and ensure your torch is clearly visible to the dispatcher. Once the torch animation ends, you may board the train, close the local door, and buzz the driver using the signal bell. Congrats! You have successfully dispatched a train as a guard with a dispatcher. Switching to the opposite side of the train is necessary if the train has terminated and is turning around after continuing its route, or if it's simply changing direction to continue to its destination. Changing position is straightforward. You just mirror your current local door to the corresponding door on the opposite side of the train. Here are some situations to guide you when the driver changes direction. If the previous local door is at the rear cab, the local door will be at the opposite cab. If the previous local door is at the last passenger door, the local door will be at the first passenger door. The same applies if you are at the second last passenger door, and so on. If the previous local door is in the middle of the train, the local door will be in the corresponding position in the next coach. To check if the driver has turned around, look at the interlock light on your local carriage. If it's no longer flashing, the train has likely changed direction, and your local door will now be on the opposite side of the train. You can also confirm this by checking the cab to see if the driver is already there. Since you've switched position, make sure to face the driver after they have turned around, or the dispatcher if one is present. On some trains, the position of the local door can vary slightly depending on which side the platform is on. Take the Class 68 as an example. If the platform is on the left side, the local door will be at the last passenger door. However, if the platform is on the right side, the local door will shift to the second last passenger door, meaning you'll need to move further down the train to exit. So if your local door does not open next to you for some reason, check the next passenger door. Make sure to keep this in mind when guarding different trains, as the local door position may not always be consistent. Keep in mind that some platforms at certain stations are short, which means some trains, especially longer ones, may not fully fit within the short platform. This may include the carriage with the local door. If the driver stops at a station with a short platform, you will get teleported to another carriage that has access to the platform. This will be your temporary local door in case the platform is too short. However, the procedure remains the same. If, for any reason, the system does not teleport you, simply make your way to the temporary local door. To become a guard in-game, you must be a dispatcher in the SCR Roblox group and have at least 540 experiences in-game. After meeting these requirements, you will have to take the quiz, attend the guard training, follow supervisor's instructions, and I wish you the best of luck with your practical assessment. Before I end this video, There is currently a physical guard panel in the SCR prototyping center, where you can interact with the panel itself instead of using on-screen buttons. If this gets implemented in the future, similar to how the TRTS blocks for dispatchers were, the overall process will likely remain the same. Hopefully, this video helps you on how to guard a train properly to keep the train running safely and smoothly. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss out on upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.